Once upon a time, there was a king who ruled a kingdom. He cared for his people. The people loved him and prayed for his long life. He had a wise minister who helped him with good advice. The king liked to test his courtiers and ministers with tricky questions. One evening, after finishing his work in the nearby villages, the minister returned to the palace. He gave his report and then headed home. On his way, a monkey mother with her baby suddenly appeared in front of him. She looked hungry, and her eyes seemed to ask for something to eat. The minister paused, thinking she wanted help. But as he moved closer, the mother quickly hid behind the bushes. She was scared. The minister sighed and continued on his way. When he reached home, the image of the hungry monkey kept troubling him. After freshening up, he sat in the lounge. His wife, Laura, sat beside him. The maids brought tea and refreshments. Laura handed him a cup of tea and asked,
"What's wrong, dear? You seem quiet today."
The minister sighed again and said,
On my way home, I saw a monkey mother with her baby. She looked so hungry, like she wanted something to eat. I had nothing to give her.
The minister said sadly. Laura gently placed her hand on his shoulder.
"Don't worry. You can give her something tomorrow."
The minister sighed.
I don't think she will be there.
Laura smiled.
Maybe she will still be there. Be hopeful. You give her bananas.
The minister smiled.
Good idea.
Just then, Jack and Mealy came running.
Dad, are you home?
Jack asked. The minister smiled.
Yes. Where were you two?
Jack laughed.
We were doing homework.
They started talking and laughing. The next day, the minister went there with bananas. He sat on a stone and waited. Soon, the monkey mother appeared. She still looked hungry. She held her baby. The minister peeled a banana. As she came closer, the minister gave her the banana. She hesitantly took it and started eating. The minister extended his hand to touch her baby. In an instant, the monkey sprang and bit his hand.
Ah!
He yelled. The monkey mother quickly ran away with her baby. The minister looked at his hand. A wound had formed. He left the bananas near the bushes and pressed his hand. He slowly walked home. He was very happy she wouldn't be hungry. At home, Mealy saw his hand.
"Dad! What happened?"
she shouted. Jack ran to tell Laura. Laura quickly came with a medical box. Jack was with her. Mealy quickly brought the water and handed it to him. He took a sip and smiled.
Thank you, my dear.
Did the monkey hurt you?
Laura asked.
Yes. I touched her baby. She got scared.
He replied. Laura smiled.
You shouldn't have touched her baby. You need to gain her trust first.
He nodded. Laura bandaged his hand and gave him painkillers. After that day on, every day the minister stopped with bananas or bread. The monkey mother waited for him. She was not scared now. One day she let him hold her baby. The little one grabbed his fingers. The mother watched calmly. The minister smiled. He had won her trust. One day the minister stopped as usual. The monkey mother ran to him and placed her baby in his lap. He sat on a stone, peeling bananas and feeding her. She ate happily. He smiled and said,
Will you come home with me?
She didn't understand. He stood up and held out his hand. The baby was still in his lap. The mother hesitated, then held his hand. Together, they walked home. Soon he reached the house. Mealy shouted with joy.
Jack! Come see!
Jack ran over.
Oh! A baby monkey!
He tried to take it, but the mother shouted. The minister laughed.
Win her trust first.
Hearing the noise, Laura stepped into the room. She smirked.
So, you finally did it.
She said. The minister smiled. Mealy and Jack ran to the kitchen, returning with bananas and bread. They fed the mother happily, but she stayed alert. The kids still couldn't touch her baby and felt disappointed. That night, at dinner, Jack sighed.
She won't let us touch her baby.
Mealy nodded. Laura smiled at their worries. The minister said,
You will win her heart. But it will take time. Be patient.
Jack and Mealy nodded and ate happily. Jack and Mealy fed her every day. She grew close to them. One day, she gently placed her baby in their hands. She knew they were family now. One morning, at court, the king asked,
Who is the dearest in the world?
Some courtiers said.
Mother.
Others said.
Father.
The king looked at the minister.
Why are you silent?
The minister bowed.
Your Majesty. One's own life is the dearest of all.
The courtiers started arguing. One said,
"A mother's love is the purest. She sacrifices everything."
Another disagreed.
No. A father works hard for his children. His love is greater.
Someone else added.
What about siblings? They share everything and stand by you.
The court grew noisy with debates. The king raised his hand.
Silence.
He turned to the minister.
You must prove your point.
The minister bowed.
As you command. Your Majesty.
That night, the minister thought hard. Suddenly, an idea sparked. He smiled and slept. The next evening, he told Laura about his point and his plan to prove it. Laura said,
But you could fail.
The minister smiled.
I won't.
Laura hesitated.
But it could harm the baby monkey.
I will handle it.
He assured. The next morning, the minister took the mother monkey and her baby and got ready to go. Mealy was worried. She asked,
Dad, will the king keep them?
The minister shook his head.
No. Dear. I promise to bring them back.
Mealy nodded. Jack said,
Take care of them, Dad.
The minister smiled and left. At the court gate, he handed the monkeys to a servant. The mother clutched her baby tightly. He ordered,
Empty the pond immediately. I will wait.
Then he entered the court, bowed, and sat. A servant soon entered.
Your Majesty, the pond is empty as the minister ordered.
The king was surprised.
Why did you order this?
The minister stood, bowed, and said,
Your Majesty. Please come with me.
The king nodded, and they all followed him outside. The minister took the king and courtiers near the pond.
Bring them here.
He commanded. A servant brought the monkeys. The minister took the baby in his lap, held the mother's hand, and stepped into the pond. He returned the baby to her and came out. The mother panicked. She screamed.
Fill the pond.
The minister ordered. Water rose. The king and all the courtiers were surprised. The mother monkey and her baby kept shouting. Soon, the water level reached her chest. She held her baby on her shoulder. Then, as the water reached her shoulders, she placed her baby on her head. The minister ordered.
Jump in. As soon as I command.
They bowed. Soon, the water reached her nose. She cried out and then suddenly pushed the baby away.
Jump!
The minister shouted. The servants leaped in and grabbed the baby. The king's eyes widened.
Unbelievable.
The servants pulled them out, wrapped them in towels, and dried them. The king said,
The mother monkey threw her baby to save herself. You have proven that one's own life is the dearest of all.
The minister bowed. The courtiers fell silent, realizing the truth.